Right now, a massive wall of Arctic air is barreling towards Britain, and by Friday, temperatures in some parts of England could crash by 8 degrees Celsius in just 48 hours. If you live anywhere from London to Edinburgh, what happens over the next 7 days could genuinely disrupt your life. And here is the part most forecasters are not telling you yet. There is a growing chance that significant snowfall could reach low-lying areas, not just the Scottish Highlands, not just the Pennines, but potentially your street. Stay with me, because at the 3-minute mark, I am going to walk you through exactly when this cold snap hits your specific region, hour by hour, city by city. That is a promise. But first, let me explain why this particular pattern is so unusual, because understanding that will help you prepare far better than any generic forecast ever could. And if you stick around to the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal which specific days carry the highest risk of disruptive snowfall reaching low-lying areas across England. That information alone could save you a very bad commute. Right now, as of Sunday the 8th of February 2026, Britain is sitting in a deceptively mild air mass. Temperatures today hit 10 to 12 degrees Celsius across England and Wales. That is actually above average for early February. Parts of the southeast even saw some sunshine this afternoon. Sounds pleasant, right? Here is the twist. That mildness is the calm before something much more dramatic. The jet stream, that river of fast-moving air high in the atmosphere that essentially controls our weather, is about to do something it has not done in weeks. It is sinking southwards. And when the jet stream drops, it opens a door that lets bitterly cold Arctic air flood straight down from the north and northeast. Air that has been sitting over Scandinavia and mainland Europe during one of their coldest spells in recent memory. Now, before we get to the cold, let us deal with what is happening right now, because Monday and Tuesday are going to be rough for millions of people, just in a completely different way. Monday, the 9th of February, a deep band of heavy rain is pushing into southwest England and Wales starting around midday. The Met Office has issued a rain warning covering South Wales and much of southwest England, valid from midday Monday all the way through to midnight. We are talking 10 to 15 millimeters widely, with some of the worst affected spots picking up close to 30 millimeters. Now, 30 millimeters might not sound catastrophic on paper, but here is what makes this dangerous. The ground across southwest England, Wales, and large parts of Scotland is completely saturated. It has been saturated for weeks. Every additional drop of rain has nowhere to go. That means localized flooding, difficult driving conditions, spray on the roads, and potentially more misery for communities that have already been dealing with flooding for far too long. If you are in Bristol, Bath, Exeter, Cardiff, or Swansea, Monday afternoon through Monday night is your window of highest risk. Keep an eye on river levels. Do not attempt to drive through standing water. Tuesday, the 10th of February, brings more of the same frustration. Another band of rain sweeps through southwest England, pushes into Wales, and spreads across central southern England through the afternoon. Eastern Scotland gets hammered again with persistent rain and strengthening winds, particularly around Orkney and Shetland. Temperatures remain mild, though, 12 or even 13 degrees Celsius possible in any brighter spells across the south. But across northern Scotland, only 6 or 7 degrees, and the wind off the North Sea will make it feel significantly colder. Wednesday, the 11th of February. More heavy rain bands arrive. Some of this rain is genuinely intense, especially Wednesday into Thursday. But here is where the story starts to shift. And this is the part you absolutely must not miss. By Wednesday evening, if you look at the upper atmosphere charts, the first fingerprints of that Arctic air start appearing over the Scottish Highlands. The highest peaks of the Cairngorms and the Grampians begin to see precipitation turning from rain to snow. It is a subtle change, barely noticeable at low levels, but it is the opening act of something much bigger. Thursday, the 12th of February. This is the transition day, and it is going to be chaotic. The last of the milder air is being squeezed out as colder air digs in from the north. Temperatures across northern England and Scotland start dropping noticeably. Highs of only 8 to 10 degrees Celsius and falling. Hill snow becomes more widespread across Scotland, northern England, and potentially the mountains of Wales. If you are in Manchester, Leeds, Newcastle, or Glasgow, Thursday is the day you start feeling the change. The wind direction shifts. The air tastes different. You will know it when it arrives. Now, here is the moment I promised you. Let me break this down city by city so you know exactly what to expect and when. London and the southeast. You stay relatively mild through Thursday, highs around 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. But Friday morning, expect a dramatic drop. By Friday afternoon, London could be looking at just 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, with a bitter northerly wind making it feel closer to freezing. Any precipitation on Friday could fall as sleet or wet snow even at low levels. The probability is still marginal, but it is real and it is not zero, Birmingham and the Midlands. The cold air reaches you late Thursday night into Friday morning. Temperatures crash from around 9 degrees Celsius on Thursday afternoon to potentially 4 degrees Celsius by Friday lunchtime. Hill snow is very possible across the higher ground of Shropshire and Staffordshire. Lower levels could see a brief spell of sleet or snow, especially in any heavier showers. Bristol, Cardiff, and the southwest. After days of heavy rain and flooding concerns, the cold front sweeps through late Thursday into Friday. It is a bizarre transition. One day you are dealing with flooding, the next you are dealing with frost. Temperatures drop to around 4 to 5 degrees Celsius by Friday afternoon. There is a small but genuine chance that some of the precipitation on the leading edge of the cold air falls as snow, even here. Manchester, Leeds, and Northern England, you are in the firing line. The cold air arrives Thursday evening and really digs in overnight. Friday could see widespread hill snow across the Pennines, the North York Moors, and the Peak District. Even lower-lying areas around Manchester and Leeds could see snow showers, particularly in any heavier bursts on Friday. Temperatures of just 3 to 4 degrees Celsius by day, dropping well below freezing overnight into Saturday. Edinburgh, Glasgow, and central Scotland, you get hit first and hardest. The Arctic air plunges in Thursday afternoon and does not let go. Friday sees biting northerly winds, temperatures struggling to reach 2 or 3 degrees Celsius, and snow showers are likely, especially down the east coast and across higher ground. Overnight frosts could be severe, potentially -3 or -4 degrees Celsius in sheltered glens, Aberdeen, Inverness, and the Scottish Highlands. Properly cold. Friday and Saturday could see significant snow accumulations above 200 metres. Even at sea level, snow showers are likely in the northerly flow. Temperatures may not climb above 1 or 2 degrees Celsius during the day, with overnight lows potentially hitting -5 degrees Celsius or lower in some highland valleys. Belfast and Northern Ireland. The cold air wraps around and reaches you by Friday. Temperatures drop to around 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. Snow showers are possible over the Sperrin Mountains and the Mourne Mountains. Lower levels stay mainly dry but bitterly cold, with a sharp frost Friday night into Saturday. If you are anywhere along the Antrim coast, the northerly wind will make it feel genuinely raw. Norwich, Cambridge, and the east coast of England. You are in an interesting position. With a northerly wind, the east coast often picks up snow showers coming in off the North Sea. Friday and Saturday could bring occasional sleet and snow showers to coastal areas from the Humber down to East Anglia. These are typically brief but can be intense, dropping a centimetre or two in minutes before clearing. Inland, it stays drier but brutally cold in the wind. Liverpool, Chester, and northwest England. The cold arrives Thursday night. Friday brings temperatures of around 4 degrees Celsius with a cutting northerly wind. The higher ground of the Forest of Bowland and the western Pennines could see meaningful snow accumulations. Lower levels stay mainly on the edge, with sleet and occasional wet snow possible in heavier showers. Southampton, Portsmouth, and the South Coast. You are the last to feel the full force of the cold. Friday afternoon is when it really bites. Temperatures drop from around 7 degrees Celsius in the morning to 4 or 5 by late afternoon as the northerly wind strengthens. The English Channel will be choppy, and any showers along the coast could carry sleet. A proper frost is likely Friday night, the first significant one in weeks for many South Coast locations. Now, here is where it gets really interesting, and honestly, this is the part that has forecasters most animated right now. Do not skip ahead, because this next section could determine whether the second half of February is one to remember. The cold snap peaks Friday into Saturday, the 13th and 14th of February. Harsh overnight frosts everywhere. Temperatures in single digits by day across the entire country. Proper Arctic air, the kind where your car windscreen is frozen solid at 8 in the morning and still has ice on it at 10. But then something happens. A milder sector from the Atlantic tries to push back in around Sunday or Monday. And this is where the forecasting becomes incredibly tricky, because when mild Atlantic air collides with entrenched Arctic air, the result at the boundary can be significant snowfall, not just hill snow, not just dustings, potentially heavy, disruptive, low-level snow. The European Centre for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, which is widely regarded as the most accurate global model, is showing the cold air returning strongly by the middle of the following week, around Wednesday the 18th or Thursday the 19th of February. And on that run, the cold looks even more widespread and more intense than the initial shot. What does that mean practically? It means the second half of February could see repeated bouts of cold and wintry weather interspersed with brief, milder interludes. Some days you could wake up to snow on the ground. Other days you could see 8 or 9 degrees Celsius and heavy rain. The ensemble models, which run dozens of slightly different scenarios to gauge probability, are showing temperatures bouncing wildly above and below average through mid to late February. The dew point hovers around freezing, which is encouraging for snow when precipitation does arrive. Let me be clear about what this is not. This is not a beast from the east situation. This is not a prolonged, dominant cold pattern that locks in for weeks. The milder Atlantic air is always lurking, always trying to push back in. But what we are seeing is a pattern where cold air repeatedly gets drawn down from the Arctic and northeast, and every time that cold air meets the next Atlantic weather system, there is a genuine risk of significant snowfall before the milder air wins out. For those of you who have been through winters like 2010 and 2018, you know that it is often these transitional battleground patterns that produce the most dramatic and disruptive weather events. One side of a weather front gets heavy rain at 8 degrees Celsius. The other side, just 50 miles away, gets 15 centimeters of snow. That is the kind of pattern we are heading into. So what should you do? Keep your phone charged and weather alerts turned on. If you are in a flood-affected area, this week, rain early in the week, followed by a potential freeze later in the week, is a particularly nasty combination. Standing water can freeze. Saturated roads can turn to ice sheets. And if you are a driver, a gardener, a farmer, or anyone whose life is affected by the weather, the next 2 weeks demand your attention. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below telling me where you are watching from, your city, your town, your village. I will be monitoring the models daily, and I will respond with localized updates for as many of you as I can. If enough of you from the same area comment, I will do a dedicated regional breakdown in the next video. And speaking of the next video, here is what is coming. By Tuesday or Wednesday, the high-resolution models will start to come into range for Friday's cold snap. That means I will be able to show you snowfall accumulation maps down to individual postcode level. Exactly how much snow your area could see, exactly what time it arrives, and exactly when it clears. If there is one video you do not want to miss this winter, it is that one. Make sure you are subscribed and have the bell turned on so you get notified the moment it drops. The next 48 hours are going to refine this forecast dramatically. What is currently a strong signal for cold and wintry conditions could sharpen into something very specific and very significant. Or the milder air could fight harder than expected and push the snow risk further north. Either way, I will have the answer for you within days. One more thing before I go, I have been tracking 3 major weather models for this forecast: the Global Forecast System, the United Kingdom Met Office model, and the European Centre model. All 3 agree on the cold snap arriving Friday. Where they disagree is on how long it lasts and how quickly the mild air returns. That disagreement is exactly what makes the snow forecast so uncertain and so potentially dramatic. When models disagree on timing by even 12 hours at this time of year, it can be the difference between rain and 15 centimeters of snow. That is how knife-edge this situation is. Remember, comment below with your location. I read every single comment, and I will do my best to give you a personalized heads up. The more specific you are, the better I can help. Town names, postcodes, anything that helps me pinpoint your area. Stay warm, stay prepared, and I will see you